The shortstop is back in town 3.5 months after a trip to the disabled list and a subsequent jaunt to the minor leagues. Ruben Tejada is back, and maybe David Wright isn't far behind. At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Washington Nationals. Tuesday Night Baseball is presented by Citi. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen with you. Ron Darling and Keith Hernandez will join me in just a moment as the Mets play Game 2 of their 4-game series against the Nationals. Ruben Tejada's last game for the Mets came on May the 29th, and after 2 months of low production and a subsequent injury, Tejada was sent to the disabled list and ultimately was optioned down to Las Vegas. And now, 3.5 months later, Tejada is back, and even though he's not on the lineup tonight, he'll get the bulk of the playing time at shortstop going down the stretch to see if he indeed is part of the Mets' future.
And he should play every day the rest of the way at shortstop, and he should be a part of the future. And he's played 60 games down in AAA. Boy, it seems like he's been gone longer than that. But he hit 288, almost 290, and 240 at bats. We know all about his glove. He had a difficult time in April in the cold weather. You remember all the errors he made early in April in that cold road trip. Terry Collins in the pregame interview room today said it's his job to take. He didn't hit when he was here. He got sent down. Let's face it, he's in the doghouse, but it's still there for him to take that shortstop job. He's too good a glove. He's young. He's part of the future of this club. Go take the job.
So the question, Ronnie, is what does he need to do to prove himself?
Well, that's interesting, guys, is that, yes, it is his job. It's interesting they say that here and haven't called him up until September. But he brought him into the office and he said, read him the 2, 3, 4 things that he's going to have to do, that he's going to have to see to make sure he gets that job.
On the mound tonight for the Mets, their hottest pitcher since the end of May, and that's Dylan G. He's just been fantastic for the last 3 months.
You know, 11 wins. He's at the top of his game. And talking to some of the Washington hitters today, they said you just never know. There's no variable with him. That's how difficult it's been to hit him so far.
Jordan Zimmerman's won 16 games this year, but he hasn't beaten the Mets so far.
You know, no one's won more, but he's pitched well against the Mets, despite his 0-3 record. But one of the best right-handers in the National League East.
So the Mets, after being one hit by Gio Gonzalez last night, go up against Jordan Zimmerman tonight. It's the Mets and Nats from Citi Field. All the action coming your way tonight right here on SNY. proud sponsor of the New York Mets. By Bob's Discount Furniture, proud to be the furniture store of the New York Mets. By your Tri-State Cadillac dealer, visit CadillacTristate.com to search local offers and find a dealer near you. By Parts Authority, Auto Parts Superstores, where the answer is always yes. And by eBay Now. eBay Now brings you same-day delivery from local stores for just $5 per order. Get to field Saturday afternoon for Nickelodeon Day featuring SpongeBob. The first 15,000 fans attending the 4:10 single admission doubleheader against the Marlins will receive a Mets wristband. Call 718-507-TIXX or visit Mets.com now for your tickets. Mets' upcoming schedule. You can listen to all Met games this year on Sports Radio 66 and Sports Radio 101.9 FM WFAN. 2 more with the Nats tomorrow night and Thursday afternoon. 4 with the Marlins, including that doubleheader Saturday. Then the Giants come in for 3. Mets then go to Philly and Cincinnati, finish the season at home against the Brewers. It's the Mets and the Nats tonight. Dylan G tries to keep his wonderful roll going, looking for his 5th win of the year against the Nationals. First pitch coming up from Citi Field.
Most of all, have fun. Have fun. Have fun.
Back with the team, not available tonight. He was asked by the Washington Writers before the game about his injury. He said, not allowed to talk about it on orders from the GM. So we don't know when Harper's going to play next.
That's a clown question, bro.
Here's your Hyundai starting lineup for the Nationals. Other than the second baseman, same unit that started last night, Steve Lombardozzi, who had a home run against Dylan G earlier this year, gets the start tonight. And that's it. 5 home runs yesterday. First team ever to do that at Citi Field. Dylan G will try and keep him in the park tonight.
Well, this is record this year. Numbers presented to you by Jaguar. You know his numbers against Washington. He's got 4 wins this year, 32 and 24 in his career, and he's trying to reach his high mark in 2011 when he went 13 and 6.
And we'll take a look at the Metropolitan Lexus defense. And Murph, he's been the steady out there, has he not, all year long? And Lagares in right now because Mr. Dendecker is out in center field. That's kind of what happens. Dendecker gets the center field position. There's Murph. Murph's been steady. He comes to the park every day. And there's Matt Dendecker getting a big chance. And, of course, Lagares has been playing wonderfully.
Tuesday Night Baseball on SNY is brought to you by Citi. Welcome to Citi Tuesdays, where Citi credit and debit card holders enjoy savings and benefits at Citi Field. Learn more at Mets.com/Citi Tuesdays. Since his start at Yankee Stadium on May the 30th, Dylan Gee has started 18 games. In that stretch, he's 9-3 with a 2.40 ERA. In that stretch of time, only 3 pitchers in Major League Baseball have a better earned run average. Jose Fernandez of the Marlins, Clayton Kershaw of the Dodgers, and Bartolo Colon of the A's.
You know, Gary, I've seen pitchers maybe a little hotter than Dylan Gee, but there were guys that throw 95 plus. They're the top of their league. Not a guy that has 4 pitches, a control pitcher, other than maybe Greg Maddux in the time.
Now, one of you recently dropped this name on Dylan Gee, and I think it's appropriate because if you think back to the late 90s and early 2000s, this guy had stretches like that. And that's Rick Reed, a guy who didn't throw hard but was very, very consistent.
Yeah, I did. It's Maddux Light, a guy that uses all of his pitches to every corner and changes speed. Gee has been just fun to watch.
They'll face one of the hottest hitters in the game right now, Denard Span, who's riding a 20-game hitting streak after a 3-for-5 home run last night. And a fastball in for a strike, and we're underway at Citi Field. Span up to 282 for the year. You see he's hitting .410 during this 20-game hitting streak. And the corners pinch in against Span, who's capable of bunting for a hit, or as we saw last night, hitting the ball out of the ballpark.
Really shading Span to the opposite field.
Good changeup by Gee, and he's quickly ahead 0-2. Zimmerman and Worth to follow for the Nationals, who gained a game in the wild card race last night with Cincinnati losing. The Nats are now 7 behind the Reds for the second wild card spot, but with only 19 games left to play.
And there you see the outfield defense really shaded over the opposite field. Extreme.
And Span with a soft tapper. Gee makes the play, and that's the first out of the night. Well, the Pirates won last night to get to 82 wins. First time they've had a winning season since 1992. They and the Reds are in the wild card positions. It'll take quite a run by the Nats to chase one of them down.
I saw the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. The back of it just had the number 82 in black and yellow.
And really the sentiments from all the Pirate players were the same. It was like, we understand this is really important to the fans and that the media will make a big deal of it, but it's only a very small milestone on the way to what we really want.
Correct.
Here's Ryan Zimmerman, and he takes outside for ball 1.
That was a big win last night. 1-0 win in Texas. They beat Darvish. That's a huge win for that Pirate team.
That was Garrett Cole, the rookie, who went 7 innings for the win. And interestingly, they're talking about Cole as a potential reliever in the postseason, which is interesting. Fastball for a strike to Zimmerman, 1-1.
Well, he's got the, if you reduced him to 2 pitches, he throws close to 100 with a good slider.
Of course, that also tells you they're not 100% certain that Jason Grilli is back up to speed. Zimmerman hits one off the end of the bat, and Gee with his second chance. So instead of 2 straight homers to start the night like last night, it's 2 straight comebackers to begin this game. So 2 out and nobody on. Now Jason Worth. He was 2 for 5 last night, including a 3-run homer. And with that, Worth has taken over the National League lead in slugging percentage, 4th in on base percentage, and if you add them up for OPS, he leads the league in that as well. So Worth has not been talked about at all as a potential MVP candidate because he missed a chunk of time earlier this year. Has certainly put up MVP caliber numbers.
It's going to be a hard call, isn't it, in the National League for an MVP?
There's certainly no clear-cut favorite. There are your National League leaders in slugging percentage. Worth taking over the lead from Dyer and Goldschmidt last night.
Goldschmidt looked like a lock, but his team is winning the tank. Freddie Freeman for Atlanta's got to be a guy mentioned.
You know, a month and a half ago, I would have said Yadier Molina. Worth drives one deep in the gap in left center, headed toward the wall and out of here. Jason Worth does it again, his 23rd home run of the year to put the Nationals in front 1-0.
Jeez, what a display, and that'll increase that slugging percentage.
Worth wasn't sure it was a home run. It got out of here so quickly. He was running to first base, didn't see it leave, but it was indeed well over the orange line and into the Party City deck. And so Worth, with his second home run of the series, puts the Nats in front.
Fastball right down the middle, belt high, and this is crushed. Mistake by G, and punished severely for it.
And no need to look there. He pitched long enough, he knew.
G's unflappable.
23rd home run Dillon's allowed this year. That's 5th in the National League in home runs allowed. So the Nats, who had 5 home runs last night, have their first in this game. And now Ian Desmond, who went 0 for 4 last night. He has 3 career home runs against G in 29 at bats, and he fouls it back 1-1.
Desmond's been a little off. He's been pulling off the ball. You can get him out of way. He's had another fine season for himself. 20 home runs. Worth's a nice little player, isn't he?
Yeah. Boy, since he came back from the DL around the 1st of July, nobody has played better than he has.
When Davey Johnson last year put him in the leadoff role, that turned everything around, took all the pressure off the big contract, and now he's on his way.
Well, this is his 3rd year now on that 7-year deal. The first year he struggled. The second year, last year, he broke his wrist and he missed half the season. This year he did miss a month because of injury, but he has had by far his best year.
He knows how to play the game. Plays defense, has a strong arm, runs the bases well. He's an all-around player.
2-2 from G, and Desmond fouls back the fastball. 92 from Dillon.
Going hard.
Alan Monroe shooting 5th in the order. He waits on deck.
Isn't that crazy? The fences moved in. 5 of the 6 home runs that have been hit by the Nationals would not have been out in the original stadium.
Badly late on the fastball. Desmond is fanned, and G gets through the opening inning, but not without some damage. Worth with a home run, giving Jordan Zimmerman and the Nats a 1-0 lead. Lineup. No Ruben Tejada tonight, but he should be in the lineup tomorrow and then for most of the rest of the way. Matt Den Dekker gets a start in center. Daniel Murphy, who's been the Mets' best hitter by far, Dropped to the number 3 hole where he has really struggled when he's been placed there this year, but Terry Collins will take another crack at that tonight, putting Lagares in the 2 hole.
Well, Jordan Zimmerman, you can see his record. No one has more wins as he goes for his 17th tonight. 40 and 34 in his career. Always walks down, strikeouts up.
Eric Young will lead things off. Eric 0 for 4 last night. He had plenty of company. That's had only 1 hit last night. A pinch hit single by Zach Lutz in the 7th inning against Gio Gonzalez that hit some chalk and was the only thing standing between the Mets and being no hit for the first time in 20 years. Young playing his 72nd game as a Met, .336 on base percentage in a Mets uniform. He'll take that. And Zimmerman blows the fastball by him 0-2. Lagares on deck, and then Murphy in the opening inning.
Well, Zimmerman's a guy that comes after you. 36 walks and 185 and a third. He throws strikes. He's a strike thrower.
1.7 walks per 9 innings. One of the best marks in the league, and he takes him just 3 pitches to dispatch Eric Young to the first out.
3 straight fastballs. Up the ladder.
It's interesting. I was talking to Davey Johnson today, and he said that Zimmerman's body reminds him a lot of Tom Seaver. He said he's built real low to ground, big legs. He's a drop and drive kind of guy. He said he's not the same pitcher as Seaver, but that kind of body.
It's a good call. He didn't get nearly as low as Seaver did. Here's Lagares 0 for 3 last night. He flies one deep to right. Back goes Worth. He'll have plenty of room in front of the warning track, and that's the second out.
And we'll take a look at the Coors Light Washington National defense. Well, Zimmerman is a Gold Glover, and 21 errors is far too many. A lot of them are throwing. He's had that shoulder problem, but boy, oh boy, quite an athlete. And that's Ryan Zimmerman, not to be confused with Jordan.
1 in, 2 ends. So here's Murphy. This is the 13th game that Murphy is starting as the number 3 hitter. In the first 12, 9 for 52. That's a 173 average with no RBIs. And it kind of fits a pattern in his career. 53 games he started batting third. 234 with a homer and 12 RBIs. Now, this is a guy who used to self-identify as a number 3 hitter. So he lines one down the left field line and just foul.
Is that a big enough sample, Keith, to think that he thinks about it too much when he gets in that third hole, or is it just happenstance?
He hit third his whole life, and like Gary said, very prideful about it. And I think he's gotten very comfortable in that 2 hole. Personally, I always pushed him to be in the 3rd hole, and if I was managing, and I'd say, well, Murph, get used to it. You're my 3rd hitter.
Well, particularly in the lineup the Mets are putting out there now. I mean, you know, you're supposed to put your best hitter 3rd, and he is their best hitter.
I would have liked to have had Murph hit 3rd, because then you can, at the beginning of the year, you can have Duda or Ike in the cleanup, and then David 5th, and then you come back with the left-hander, Duda or Ike in the 6th spot.
Got in on him. A little pop up into shallow right. Worth comes on, and that retires the side. Zimmerman gets the Mets out 1-2-3. 1-0 Nats after 1. It'll be LaRoche, Wilson Ramos, and Tyler Moore against Dylan G in the second after Jason Worth's home run put the Nats up 1-0. Last night, the Nats hit 5 home runs, won the game 9-0, and the Mets had only 1 hit. It's only happened twice before in Met history that they managed 1 hit and lost by that wide a margin. And the other 2 times were 1965 against Tony Cloninger and 1966 against Woody Fryman.
So Woody Fryman would have been then with the Phillies and Cloninger.
The Pirates.
Pirates, that's right. And then Cloninger of the Braves.
Right. The Milwaukee Braves.
Yes.
That's how long ago that was. So it had been a while since the Mets had been as completely dominated in a game as they were last night. Gio Gonzalez, the author of that 1-hitter. His reactions last night were priceless, by the way. Both when he gave up the hit to Zach Lutz, as LaRoche drives one to deep left center, headed back toward the wall, and that ball is out of here. The Nationals having a home run party city. 19 home runs for Adam LaRoche, 7 home runs for the Nationals in the first 11 innings of this series, and it's 2-0 Washington.
Last time I saw this was in the middle of July, and Cespedes was here. I mean, come on, it's making it look easy.
This like the 101st Heavy Artillery Battalion.
They look like they're tired of celebrating.
They lead the world in high fives here.
Weary.
24 hours.
Too many high fives.
19th home run for LaRoche.
So 2-0 Washington. Now Wilson Ramos, who had a 3-run homer last night, he takes a strike.
Well, let's see where this one is. Another fastball, Ron. Outside corner up. Round letter high, and he just clobbered it. Right on it. See the reaction to Dylan. He knew he made a bad pitch.
Roche has now hit 22 home runs in his career against the Mets, his most against any opponent.
That's the 20th. Excuse me, I'm sorry. 24th home run this year given up by Dylan.
Gets a curveball in for a strike, and it's 1-2 to Ramos. Ramos 1 for 5 last night, which dropped his career average against the Mets. It's only 430 now. Ramos catching his 18th straight game. The longest streak for any catcher in the majors this year is 22. Yadier Molina did that early this season. But Ramos, who missed most of the first half of the season with a hamstring injury, now going out there every day, going down the stretch, at least as long as the Nationals are fighting for a playoff berth.
Well, he is a big, strong kid, and he's going to be a heck of a player at some point in this game. I mean, in the future. Got a good bat, idea behind the plate.
As far as the Mets are concerned, he is in the present, although G gets him with the slider.
For the last time the Mets faced the Nationals at Nationals Park, we showed that both Dylan G and Zimmerman are very similar. The only difference probably the body type of Zimmerman and the follow through. Kind of throws a little bit across his body as Dylan G, and a complete open, the full torso pointed toward the plate is Zimmerman. That's why he throws so many strikes.
Now Tyler Moore, the left fielder, and he takes the first pitch curve for ball 1. Moore filling in for Bryce Harper. Went 2 for 3 last night with a double and a home run. And after a miserable first part of the year, he went to the minor leagues, and since coming back the last 3 weeks, he's been raking.
We haven't done that with too many pitchers who look as similar as Dylan G and Jordan Zimmerman. Even the follow through. Difference? Zimmerman just throws about 3-4 miles an hour faster. Finally. 2 days. Fastball in. Just make them aware that you're going to do that every once in a while. It'll get them off those outside pitches.
2-2 to Tyler Moore with 1 out and nobody on. And the curveball a little bit high. 3-2. The last 18 starts we talked about for G, where he's been so good, only 26 walks in those 18 starts. That's a phenomenal number.
You see him shaking his head. His last starts, as you've been talking about, Gary, when he kind of loads up, the ball's down in the strike zone. Today, so far, it's been up.
3-2. Fly ball right field. Back goes Lagares a long way back, and it's over his head and off the base of the wall. And Moore hustling slides into second base, almost overslid, but stays on with his 3rd extra base hit of the series.
Well, playing a little shallow here, Lagares, and gets beat on a tough play at the base of the wall. And Moore has, since his recall, has been hitting the ball solid. They're high on this kid. I don't like this slide. He didn't almost slide by it. I mean, the quickest way to get to the bag is the slide. Straight line, point A to point B. I'm not a fan of that slide. We all know that.
So Moore is at second with 1 out. Now Steve Lombardozzi. Anthony Rendon played second base last night. But one of Lombardozzi's 2 home runs this year came against Dylan G. So Davey Johnson put him in the lineup tonight. Lombardozzi at 251 for the year. So G's given up 3 extra base hits through the first 7 batters he's faced tonight.
Been interesting so far in this game. Dylan G has chose, for the most part, throwing more fastballs early in this game that we're used to seeing. Well, that's quite a number.
When he's been in trouble lately, he's found his way out. 0-2 to the number 8 hitter with the pitcher on deck. And the curveball pulled down to first. Duda handles it, waits for G, and makes the flip for the second out as Moore goes over to third.
Nice play by Lucas here. Gets in front. There you go. That's how it's done. And walk it towards the pitcher and give him a nice easy toss. When you walk it towards the pitcher or trot it, you're shortening the distance of your throw to the pitcher and make sure you get it to him well before before he has to look down and touch the bag.
I will say, from catching many of those, it makes it so much easier on you when you're covering the bag.
Here's Jordan Zimmerman, 6 hits this year, 1 RBI, and takes a fastball for a strike.
You know, his numbers show that he's not a good hitter, but he's a good athlete, and you know, you got to be careful.
And he rips one right at the feet of Turner. Got it on a short hop and throws out Zimmerman to end the inning. But the Nats just keep on going long ball. 5 home runs last night, 2 in the first 2 innings tonight. Adam LaRoche with his 19th. And Washington out to a 2-0 lead in the second. with SNY Game Day on SNY.TV, featuring pitch-by-pitch coverage, player cards, and in-depth stats. Check out SNY Game Day during every Mets game now on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. Mets come up in the bottom of the second inning, trailing 2-0. Lucas Duda will lead off against Jordan Zimmerman. Duda 0 for 3 last night, now 0 for his last 10 after a quick start following his return from Las Vegas and his insertion into the starting lineup when Ike Davis went down for the year with an oblique injury. And first pitch swinging, flies one out to left. Tyler Moore eases over. One pitch and one out for Zimmerman in the second. By the way, speaking of injured players, the Mets announced yesterday that Bobby Parnell would have surgery on the herniated disc in his neck, and he's just gotten out of surgery today. Now, it was interesting listening to Terry Collins and then hearing what Sandy Alderson had to say about the prognosis for Parnell, who had such a good year before finally succumbing to that neck injury. Terry said he wasn't sure whether Parnell was going to be up and running for spring training. Sandy said he's certain that he will.
Okay.
So we'll see. I mean, this is not a usual surgery for a ball player, a herniated disc in your neck. So, you know, it's one of those things that you have to just wait and see.
Well, I will say we wish Bobby well, right? You were saying good year, good guy.
Just celebrated his birthday the other day. And, you know, the last thing he wanted was to have this surgery. I mean, he waited a good 6 weeks to see if the neck pain would ease, see if the therapy he was getting would allow him to avoid the surgery, and it just became untenable. You know, and it's kind of like what we talked about with Matt Harvey. He was going to see Dr. Andrews in Florida on Monday, and will make some kind of decision. If you're going to have surgery, you want to have it as soon as you
Absolutely.
can.
Well, someone told me the other day, said Dr. Andrews has this beautiful place in Pensacola where the guys go, yeah, no kidding.
0-2 to Justin Turner.
It's also Scott Rice had surgery.
Yeah, Scott had his hernia surgery. That was also today.
In Philadelphia, correct? I thought I read it was in Philadelphia.
Okay.
That's one of the few times you'd rather not be in Philadelphia.
WC. So, okay.
Well, you know, that starts, the clock starts ticking toward next year for those guys, getting themselves ready for spring training. Now, on the other hand, you've got David Wright, who was out today, taking batting practice, taking ground balls, doing some running. Hasn't run the bases yet, but that's the last step before he's ready to get in against live pitching and playing a game.
It's been around 5 weeks now.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, they're being very cautious with it, and that's good. The only time you want to maybe, or when he got hurt, when you might want to rush someone back, is if they're in a stretch run.
Desmond handles the ground ball, and the overhand throw gets Turner 2 away. And, you know, David's been asked repeatedly, well, why don't you just shut it down for the year? And he's been very consistent about this. He said, hey, I've got to come back. This is what I do. I need the security of knowing that I've played some games before the end of the year, so I don't have a question in my mind going into next year.
So you owe it to your teammates. I mean, this is part of the thing. You played till September 29th. Right. So if you could come back, and as the captain, you have a responsibility to get back in uniform if you can.
Well, I just think that the Met brass is just taking it very conservative and slow with him. Club is going nowhere. The season's being played out. Probably, I would think, 6 weeks he's back in, so one more week.
That's what he was told, and he said that all along, that's what he expected. Matt Dendecker swinging and missing at the changeup from Zimmerman, 1-1. Dendecker making his 7th big league start. 7 hits and 26 at bats. Travis d'Arnaud would be next. Zimmerman's retired the first 5. And he gets ahead on Dendecker 1-2. Now, David's last game was August the 2nd. The Mets were 9 games under 500 with David. They're 5 games under 500 without him. Mets began the year 25-40, and they've pretty much been a 500 team since. 1 game over since then. 2-2. But this is a time of year where, you know, you're playing mostly guys who spent the year in the minors, backup players. And it's a real test of will to see who can finish the year strong. You're certainly not putting out your A team against a team that's got all of their regulars out there against it. 3-2, and Dendecker's on with a walk, the Mets' first base runner of the night.
Interesting choice of pitches by Mr. Zimmerman. 3-2 changeup.
Got a
Dendecker.
16-game winner out there, and they got a rookie up and going a 3-2 change.
So now Travis d'Arnaud, 0 for 3 last night, 1 hit in his last 25 at bats.
Well, it's been a tough slog for d'Arnaud. Coming into the game, hitting 136. I know he's aware of it. I think he's pressing. Well, the only winning month of July.
We talked about the Pirates and their 82nd win. First time in 21 seasons that they will finish above 500.
Now, they lost when they got to 81 that ensured at least a 500 season. They lost 4 in a row after that, right?
Right, and they won last night.
Don't think that wasn't in the back of their minds.
d'Arnaud laces one foul.
And that's funny how the scheduling worked out when they got to play St. Louis that 3-game series and they got swept.
What a catch. Skateboarder too with the Hurley. But he took it.
That's a hard line drive. Protected that guy behind him. I was going to say the Mets are at 78 losses right now, so they would have to, put on an incredible run to avoid what will be their 5th consecutive losing season. So it's not 20 years like the Pirates, but 5 straight losing seasons is very difficult for any franchise. There's the National League Central as it sits today. Reds are trailing the Cubs again 2-0 in the second.
That Pittsburgh Texas game you guys were talking about, Yu Darvish has lost. I've been on the losing end of 3 1-0 games this year.
With that lineup?
Yeah, right?
That's not supposed to happen.
I think he said the same thing in Japanese, though. Or Farsi, whatever it took. I'm sure he said it.
The Cardinals tonight are at home against Milwaukee with Shelby Miller on the mound. Pirates again in Texas. There goes Dendecker. The throw by Ramos into the runner, and Dendecker's safe. 3rd stolen base for Matt Dendecker.
Well, slider off the plate. I think a nice job by Ramos to get that throw close.
Well, that's something that the Mets lacked early in the season. Speed. And with Young coming over and kind of igniting this club, 28 stolen bases since he's been a Met, and this is what Dendecker can also bring, another guy with speed.
The Mets are 4th in the National League in stolen bases with all the running that Young and Murphy have done this year. Taken the other way, but right to LaRoche, and d'Arnaud is retired to end the inning. A walk, a stolen base, and 1 left. We go to the 3rd, 2-0 Nats. Doesn't that big town look pretty?
Always.
A little muggy day today in New York. Going to be hot like summer. Hotter than July tomorrow.
Really?
That's my reggae reference.
Well, I was going to say Stevie Wonder.
Denard Span will lead things off as we go to the third inning. Span hit a comebacker his first time up. Dylan G gave up home runs to Jason Worth in the first, Adam LaRoche in the second. The Nats have hit 7 home runs in the first 11 innings in this series. And Span takes a first pitch curveball for a strike. The last time the Mets gave up 5 home runs in a home game before last night was 2005 at Shea Stadium against the Brewers. And that was it past Duda and down the right field line, and Span will head to second. And he's in safely with a leadoff double and a 21-game hitting streak. Now Duda playing in, and that Span hit it by him.
Right down the line, and when you're hot, you hit the good pitches. That was a changeup, I believe. Almost picked it off the ground.
Find a hole when you're on a streak, doesn't it?
Well, when you're hot, you hit the good pitches, you hit the good pitchers.
Well, the Nats have 4 hits tonight. All 4 have gone for extra bases, 2 doubles, 2 home runs. Now Zimmerman, who hit one back to G his first time up.
Zimmerman stands way off the plate, and I like his swing. And you know, he's been a 280 hitter right around there, and I think he should be a 300 hitter the way he swings the bat. But don't see him enough every day. But he's way off the plate.
Went around.
Well, you see his first at bat, little breaking ball away, took for a ball, fastball in, little sinker, and then just topped on that slider away, which was off the plate. The reason he's not a 300 hitter, Keith, he will chase pitches off the plate.
I'm always a proponent of standing close to the plate. That's just, he uses a big long bat.
I always wonder if a guy like Ryan Zimmerman, who grew up in the area he grew up, had to be a Cal Ripken fan, who stood way off the plate and kind of dove into the baseball. Had to be an influence. He was a shortstop in his day. Darno and G having some issues here with communication.
Holds his hands up high.
One from G. And he chases another slider, 1-2.
He has trouble with the slider. When he's red hot, he goes to that opposite field.
Or takes this pitch for a ball.
Yep.
To me, it seems almost like he was looking in to try to do some serious damage. And with 2 strikes, he will go the other way. He misses that ball by a foot.
Well, he's been hitting home runs lately, 4 in the last 3 games, 6 in the last 7 games.
Good time to come inside if you're G.
Strike 3 call, got him looking at a fastball. And G has his 3rd strikeout.
Set him up. Caught him looking for a curve or a slider.
Supposed to be up in the strike zone. He throws it about belt high. Curious at bat there by Zimmerman.
So 1 out, Span still at second, and now Jason Worth, who hit a bullet into the left center field seats for a home run his first time up. Worth's 23rd of the year and his 2nd in this series.
Well, the first at bat against Worth did not go as well as Zimmerman's. Fastball up out of the strike zone, and just a fastball middle. You know, thinking about it, 92 miles an hour. Maybe G was feeling a little frisky coming out of the bullpen. Felt like he had a good fastball and went with it.
And 2 of them have left the ballpark. Span with a false start, and G stepping off. And Span has to go diving back.
I think he had ideas here. He sure did.
Why did Murphy continue to cover the bag? He was moving that direction, then stopped. One note to Worth.
Well, Murph's right behind. You know what? This could have been. See Murph kind of moving to cover ground to the other side here. That was probably done. It was probably done by Gibb on his own. There was no sign for a pickoff. So
now, Ronnie, in that circumstance, G starts, Span starts to move. Can he see out of the corner of his eye and improvise to make that turn when he's intending to throw the ball at the plate?
No, I think that's more of a That's more of a premeditated. I'm going to turn to second base on this pitch. You can do that as a left-hander with a guy in first, where you lift your leg and the guy takes off and readjust.
Right.
But you can't do it when you're thinking of home plate and going to the plate. You can't adjust as the guy takes off and kind of fake the second.
Murphy's certainly trying his best to keep Span from getting too big of a lead.
Span doesn't have that kind of speed. Keep him close, change it up, worry about the hitter. More important.
You're giving up a big hole to right field.
Worth drives another one deep left center toward the wall and off the fence. Span will score. Worth goes to second with a scorching double, his second RBI of the night, to make it 3-0 Washington. Now, Worth has hit a couple of absolute bullets to left center field for a home run, and now an RBI double.
Breaking ball, hanging. Not out enough, and kind of a flat breaking ball. Didn't break down, didn't get on top of it. And Worth likes that ball mid-thigh to belt. Good level swing on that, and he's red hot. 6 total bases in this game.
No, the only thing that bothered me in that whole play is that I think Dillon really divided his attention to Span and to Worth, and the hitter is always the prerogative.
You see the power numbers that Worth has put up last year, an abbreviated season because of a broken wrist. Here's Ian Desmond, who struck out his first time up. 3-0 Washington. They've scored in each of the first 3 innings, and a soft liner to Murphy for the second half.
Well, you look at this Nationals club and you wonder how in the heck they're not in the hunt. But you look at their year so far, they're under 500 on the road. They're 4-12 against Atlanta this year.
Keith, they just didn't hit for the first 4 months of the season. I mean, it kicked in gear around the second week in August, and they've been very hot offensively since. But everybody underperformed the first half of the season and beyond.
Yep. They're 33-30 in division, 4-12 against the front runner.
So 2 out. Worth at second. Here's LaRoche, who homered to left center his first time up, his 19th of the year. And he hits this one off the end of the bat to center. Dendecker's right there, and that retires the side. But the Nats add a run. Doubles by Span and Worth bring home the 3rd Washington run. 3-0 Nats in the 3rd. Murphy and Dylan G talking about that pickoff play at second.
Usually what happens for an infielder is just asking the pitcher what's he thinking, and if you're going to do that in the future, just give me a tip to the cap, or give me a, we'll lock eyes and you let me know that you might be doing it this next play, and I'll be ready to go. And I think Keith, you're exactly right. Murph's saying, hey, I got to get in that hole, so it's more important for me to get there and cover my position than to get to the base.
Well, there's no I don't know what Murph's talking about. And Murph, I agree with you, Ronnie. Too big a hole to be left open on that right side of the infield where a base hit scores a run.
Omar Quintanilla will lead off for the Mets in the home third. Omar's first appearance in this series, hitting a .228 for the year at a very good road trip to Washington, Atlanta, and Cleveland. But as of tomorrow, Quintanilla will most likely be supplanted for the rest of the season by the Mets opening day shortstop Ruben Tejada. It's a fastball for a strike. Certainly the intent is to play Tejada virtually every day down the stretch of the season and give him the opportunity to reclaim what was once his. Line the other way, and Quintanilla's got a leadoff hit, and the Mets have their first hit in this game and their second hit in this series.
And as we speak, Omar keeps hitting.
Little curveball, wanted the back door, got too much of the plate. Not a bad pitch, but nice hitting by Quintanilla.
We have to give Omar full marks for holding the fort for the last 3 months or so at that position. But it's, as Terry Collins said today, Ruben Tejada's position to lose. G gets a bunt down nicely. Jordan Zimmerman makes the play. The 1-4 sacrifice moves Quintanilla to second.
Well, G's been the best of the pitching staff this season. His 8th sacrifice bunt. Nice form, bat out in front. He catches the ball with the bat. That's what you're trying to do. You're not trying to poke the ball to first. You're catching it with the bat, and that deadens it. I like to see that front finger, though, a little more under the bat, because the ball comes up. It could really pinch that right index finger.
I watch that. All of David Cohn. Exactly. And was it in San Francisco when it happened?
Adley Hammaker.
Oh, couldn't believe when that happened. 85?
Yeah, he had no business being in the box.
No, 87. 87.
Here's Eric Young, who struck out his first time up. Zimmerman, who got 3 fastballs his first time, throws him an inside fastball for strike 1.
Well, not so shaded, extremely shaded, pretty much straight up. But they're very shallow in that outfield. Look at the left fielder, Moore, my goodness. And Worth really goes back well on a ball.
We've seen Eric Young win a game with a home run to right field. We've seen him hit a ball in Atlanta over the head of Evan Gattis, so he has the ability.
He's got 31 extra base hits this year. He's not just a ping hitter. Fouled away, 1-2. Juan Lagares sitting second in the order tonight, waiting on deck. Quintanilla at second with 1 out.
Oh. Johnny Bench.
Still can't believe he beat out Kuzma for Rookie of the Year. In those days, each city had a writer with a vote. One writer split his vote, and Bench won 10.5 to 9.5. Oh. What Bark in the Park night was last night?
Bark in the Park. I feel like I'm at Jones Beach.
Center field, and Span is there to grab it. What's the music?
I don't get it. I don't know what's going on here. What's happening?
Got his retired 2 away.
What is that?
We got some live music working somewhere.
Well, they had the kids from Rock and Roll University here before the game. Maybe they're putting on a show during the game as well.
Very nice.
We're too far from the Clevelander to hear the music from Miami. Right. Here's Juan Lagares, who flied to right his first time up. And takes below the knees for ball one.
Do you think something's going on behind the center field scoreboard over there in the plaza back there?
Could be there, or it could be underneath in the concourse.
You're supposed to concentrate.
We'll get Kevin on it. You'd never get in the box with all this noise.
So you got the airplane going over?
It's like I'm working here. So many distractions.
It's the mecca of all decibels. Gets behind Ramos, and over to third goes Quintanilla. Wild pitch charge to Zimmerman.
Well, Ramos didn't really react quick enough there. That's a tough play, though. Tough play.
I will say, though, that Zimmerman's a little vulnerable right now. His control is not great. He's throwing a lot of breaking balls.
He had a very easy first inning. Retired the side on 8 pitches. Messed around a little bit in the second. There's the Cubs lead over the Reds in the second. Good cut by Lagares, 2-2. The other 2 games involving the Central Division race have not yet started. Quintanilla at third with 2 out, 2-2 to Lagares. And he got the inside corner at 96 miles an hour to freeze Lagares. Second strikeout for Zimmerman. 3-0 Nats after 3. Musical capital of the world. Here's Kevin Burkhardt.
I feel like I need to play a little air guitar while I do this report just to blend in. I don't know what's going on out here. It's a circus. Anyway, you know, we've been evaluating this Mets team for the final month here, guys, and I think one guy, which we talked about about 10 days ago, is the left fielder, Eric Young Jr. I talked to him today. I said, hey, do you feel like you've done enough to earn that spot? He said, you know, he paused for a second and said, you know what, I think I have. You know, I want to be more consistent, I'll say that. But I feel like I've done some good things. And he was so thankful for the opportunity here. He said, you know, I didn't know what to expect when I got here. I really didn't. I was just looking for a chance for something, and I've gotten more than that. And I want to keep getting better. And I said, what do you think has blended in with your teammates? And what do you think has really rubbed off with your teammates? He said, you know, I think I play like my personality is, and that's heart and hustle. You know, I said, for me, it's important to show, even if you're having a bad day off the field, even if you're having a bad day at the plate, you can always hustle. And I think with a young team, nice play right there by Turner. Even with a young team, it's very, very important to show that. And that's one thing I always take pride at. And we've seen it, guys. Go back to the last time they played the Nationals in D.C. Gary, wasn't it the same game that had the Harper play where Murphy bobbled at second, where Harper didn't run, but the same play, bobble at third, Eric Young ran, beat it out? I think it was that same game, but just kind of shows you the style that he brings to this team.
Well, on a team where everybody plays hard, he not only plays hard, but he's got the speed to be that kind of exciting player that the Mets haven't had since Jose Reyes.
Diving catch in last night's game. Mets down 9-0. Tells you a lot about Eric Young.
Tyler Moore takes up an in for ball one. Moore drove a double over Lagares' head in right field his first time up, and Lagares playing a little deeper this time. Gives you an idea, though, of the raw power of Tyler Moore and why Davey Johnson likes him so much.
I mean, that home run yesterday that was above the apple was pretty impressive.
Breaks his bat, flares one, and Quintanilla able to retreat and grab it for the second out.
Keith, you want me to request you a song while I'm out here?
Tell him no encores.
Too late.
What exactly is going on out there, Kevin? Do you have any idea? Is it the Rock and Roll University kid?
I think it's the Rock and Roll University. They were on the field before the game, and they're in the corner back here.
Maybe you could grab a tambourine and join the band.
Jeez.
What? That's not a bad idea, Gary. When we get to the 16th tonight, I'll do that.
Could be like a scene out of Almost Famous. Lombardozzi grounds one foul.
I feel like I'm at a bar playing live music. Those usually after a game.
I always laugh when I see that Lombardozzi on the back of his jersey, you know, because he's as Jordan Zimmerman. You know, he's pretty slight, slender infielder, and he's got to go all around his back.
Little guys with long names. Here's the 0-2. And that just missed. 1-2 to Lombardozzi. Of course, they have big letters on those Nationals jerseys. That's one of the reasons why his is so circular, semicircular. G strikes him out with a high fastball. First 1-2-3 inning of the night for G as he collects his fourth strikeout. 3-0 Nats. Murphy set tuned to SNY for behind-the-scenes access, player reactions, and a complete game breakdown with exclusive on-field interviews and Rex Ryan's post-game comments. Jets post-game live presented by Toyota Thursday immediately after the Jets-Patriots game, only on SNY.
You got to watch the Jets Pats, right? Thursday night?
Thursday night, quick turnaround going to Foxborough.
Well, the Patriots lost one of their the receiver, right? The guy they signed this year to replace Wes Welker.
Here's the thing, though. If you're a
Amendola?
Amendola, yeah. If you're a Jets fan, and before the season somebody told you they could be 1-1 after 2 games, you would have signed up immediately.
Such low expectations.
Well, January 12th, 1969.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
I hear you.
Murphy drives one deep in the gap in right center field. Going back is Worth near the wall, and it hops over the fence for a ground rule double for Daniel Murphy. So Murphy swinging like a 3-hitter tonight. A leadoff double.
Fastball in. Belt high.
It's really uncanny. The power and the numbers against Zimmerman by Murphy. He owns them.
There's 3 home runs against him in 37 at bats, and now this double. The Mets' second hit. And now Lucas Duda. Because last night the Mets had only 1 hit. I was shocked when I saw this today. The last time a pitcher threw a 1-hitter against the Mets in New York.
I did see it.
You should remember this because you were there.
I was there. I do remember it.
Mets were battling down the stretch in 1990 trying to come from behind against the Pirates. And they played a doubleheader with the Expos the final week of the season. And Chris Nabholz threw a 1-hitter in the second game of the doubleheader against the Mets, which probably just about closed the coffin on the Mets that season. That 22 years ago, last time the Mets were 1 hit in New York. Before Gio Gonzalez did it last night.
I missed that one.
You did. It was Darryl Strawberry's final week as a Met.
He sent you to the mistake by the lake.
That was in the Iron Belt. The Rust Belt.
They didn't, Ronnie, they didn't have the parade. I thought they were going to have a parade when we went there this week.
He just missed it. It was more like a mummers.
3-0 to Duda, who flied out his first time up. There's a strike.
Honestly, the first time I've seen Zimmerman pitch away from contact, I don't know what's going on, but if he makes a mistake, it's usually because he throws too many strikes. That has not been the case so far, other than the first inning.
Right in on the fists of Lucas, and he fouls it off. 3-2. Zimmerman needs a conversation. Body language not what you normally see from Zimmerman.
It's we've seen it a couple times against the Mets, though. It's frustration, and he's a guy that just honestly usually shows no emotion, comes right after you, throws strikes. But we saw it a little bit the other night with Matt Scherzer, his 3rd time trying to win 20. Very frustrated on the mound. Well, sometimes you get into that mode where your team has the win going out. That's really what the Nationals have to do, and you feel that responsibility.
3-2 to Duda with Turner on deck, and Lucas pulls one over the bag, knocked down by LaRoche, and he'll take it himself for the first out. So the Gold Glover LaRoche makes the play. Murphy to third with 1 out. Gold Hard Facts brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, your National League wins leaders. Jordan Zimmerman tied with Adam Wainwright and Jorge De La Rosa for the most wins in the National League.
Well, 2 big comebacks.
16th tonight.
2 big comebacks with De La Rosa and Liriano.
Hey, Ronnie, you mentioned Scherzer, and
Yeah.
with the loss last night, he's now 19-3. His ERA is now over 3. Can he lose the Cy Young race?
He could. He's got 3 more starts before it all comes to pass. I mean, he's been so good, but you know, the difference is that to me, the Cy Young Award has changed a little bit. It used to be almost automatic if you had the most wins. Bobby Welch in the year, you were going to get that Cy Young. It has changed now. It's based a lot on ERA, WHIP, strikeouts to walk ratio,
fielding independent pitching.
There you go.
Which is basically a measure of walks, strikeouts, and home runs allowed.
His walks to strikeouts are fantastic. His record is amazing. His ERA is good too in that American League, but not great.
His teammate leads the league in ERA. That's Anibal Sanchez, not Justin Verlander. Toward the hole, and Turner's got a base hit. That'll bring in Murphy with the first Met run in this series. Justin Turner finds a hole, and the Mets are on the board. It's 3-1 Washington.
Well, Turner continues to drive in runs. Had a good weekend series in Cleveland. And gets a curveball here. Slider. Not a bad pitch. Nice hitting. Not enough downward tilt on that breaking pitch. Turner with a big leg kick.
15th RBI of the season for Turner. So now the tying run comes to bat with Matt Dendecker. That drew a walk and stole a base in the second inning. By the way, for Murphy, that's his 83rd run scored. He's 8th in the league in runs scored on a team that, you know, has had trouble scoring runs for large chunks of the season. Travis d'Arnaud waiting on deck. Turner at first with 1 out. 0-2 coming to Dendecker, and he tied him up. He went around, strike 3. Home plate umpire John Hirschbeck rings up Dendecker himself. 3rd strikeout for Zimmerman.
Good pitch. And that's the borderline strike, too. Let's see if it's got the corner. And you notice that it got the corner. Notice how Zimmerman throws inside. He is an aggressive pitcher. It's like Pac-Man. Chewing it up. I love to watch him pitch. I love pitchers that throw like this.
So 2 out now. d'Arnaud, who grounded out his first time up. 0 for his last 14. And takes a strike on the outside.
That was interesting. d'Arnaud asked Hirschbeck where that pitch was. After Hirschbeck told him, he said thank you. That's what happens when you're a rookie.
He's very polite. Almost knocks that one down. 1-1.
Fastball could have been outside, but Hirschbeck.
Yep, he did.
Turner attempted his first stolen base of the year in Cleveland. That one hurt. He was kind of feeling his oats. He'd had a big series, couple of home runs, big 2-run double. Figured he'd mix in the steal, but it cost him a sock to the jaws. Two-one from Zimmerman, and d'Arnaud hits one past the mound, up the middle, a base hit. Turner stops at second. So d'Arnaud hits one right through the originator, and he snaps that 0 for 14 with a 2-out hit.
Fastball away, right up the middle. Still a little out in front, but that's much better. I like the way he's swinging the bat today.
You're right, Keith. He hit that bullet to first baseman LaRoche, and here rewarded Zimmerman, who follows through to the first base side not in position to make that play.
So 2 on and 2 out for the number 8 hitter, Omar Quintanilla, who had a base hit to left field his first time up. Mets have scored a run here in the 4th on 3 hits, tying runs on base for Quintanilla. And he lifts one to center field, easy for Denard Span. And that retires the side. Mets get on the board on Turner's RBI hit. 3-1 Washington after 4. To you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. City probables the remainder of the series. Zach Wheeler goes tomorrow night against Dan Herron. And then Thursday afternoon, Aaron Harang makes his Mets debut against the rookie Tanner Roark, who looked very good in his first start for the Nats. 5-0, 0.94, I think speaks for itself. Well, Herron has had his ups and downs, hasn't he, this year?
He had a little stretch there. He faced the Mets, I think, in the Saturday afternoon game a couple of months ago, and then had a stretch about a month where he's really on top of his game, but he's come back to the pack again.
And we saw that the last time he faced the Mets down in D.C. on this last road trip. Jordan Zimmerman leads off against Dylan G in the 5th. And grounds the first one down to third. Turner with the overhand throw gets Zimmerman by a stride. 1 pitch and 1 out for G in the 5th. So Dylan has settled in to retire 6 in a row after the Nats got a run in each of the first 3 innings. Well, the Nationals have moved up in those offensive ranks. They were languishing 13th in the league in runs scored in early August before they finally kicked it in gear.
And that home run thing was going to go through the roof.
Yeah. 7 in this series. Here's Denard Span, who doubled inside the first base bag and scored a run in the 3rd. 1 for 2 on the night. Now has a 21 game hitting streak. And Darno takes that one flush.
Almost like he caught it off the back of the leather, came up and got him in the chest protector, and then maybe in the mat.
Rocky World. He's had a few of those the last few days.
Anyone who plays that position is tough. See Hirschbeck going out to talk to G. Mutual Admiration Society, umpires and catchers.
The fraternity of masked men.
Thought that was Superman and the Green Hornet. Hannibal Lecter.
Lone Ranger. 0-1 to Span. Ball on a strike. Ryan Zimmerman waiting on deck. Lifted to left. And Eric Young right there. 2 out. So now Ryan Zimmerman.
Second at bat for Ryan. Fastball away for a ball. Slider swinging at. This is when he had no outs and a runner on second. Curious at bat. Swung 2 sliders off the plate and then took a fastball kind of looking middle of the plate.
Looking. Got set up.
You hated that, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
So we've seen the first 2 at bats. At some point, you got to come inside. But Zimmerman's going to be looking out and over.
And we have seen when he looks away, he can drive the ball away. Beat the Mets in a game that way earlier this year.
Not down, though. If you have the ball up, he can drive it. But the ball down and away is a good pitch. Fastball away for a strike now. Going to the slider. Shaken off by G. He wants fastball inside. Good decision. Now get it in there.
Popped up in foul ground. That'll go out and play. By the way, I like the orange fingernail polish for Darno.
Right. Up and in fastball beats him. Look at him bring his hands in. He crowded him.
Now the pitch to throw here is fastball in again because you didn't quite get it in. You can double up in there. You're 0-2. You can waste it. Start it on the inside corner. Run it right on his knees. Darno chooses the slider again. Fastball in. There we go. 4th choice. Dylan gets it.
Grounded to Quintanilla's backhand. And the off-balance throw right on target to get Zimmerman to retire the side. Nice play by Quintanilla. 8 in a row retired by Dylan G. A 7-pitch inning in the top of the 5th. Halfway through at Citi Field, 3-1 Washington. Scoring in each of the first 3 innings. Home runs by Jason Worth and Adam LaRoche. Mets got on the board against Jordan Zimmerman, their first run in this series. And Justin Turner RBI single. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Dylan G will lead off with the Mets down 3-1. Dylan got a sacrifice down his first time up. Young and Lagares to follow in the 5th.
There's your defense right there. in at the pitcher up. I've always liked to shade him even further over to the opposite field and play shallow. And then you don't want your pitcher throwing anything off speed.
Eric Young on deck. He has 7 hits this year. Zimmerman has kind of struggled the last couple of innings. He's had leadoff hits in each of the last 2 innings. Jordan Zimmerman, the pride of the University of Wisconsin at Stevens Point. Division III. But with a Division I arm.
Yeah, big time.
Got him looking. 4th strikeout for Zimmerman. 1 down in the 5th. Now Davey Johnson in his final series managing the Nationals at Citi Field. As Davey said the other day, there'll always be shade of me.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Mets people feel the same way.
So much more access at Shea as far as everything's cordoned off now. Players are more accessible. You only had that little tiny room at Shea.
Hit toward the hole, and Young's got himself a base hit. So first pitch swinging. Young slaps one into left field, and the Mets have their 5th hit against Zimmerman.
Well, it's going to be a fastball away. Catcher setting up away, and that's what Young needs to do because he can steal the base. Just keep the ball on the ground. Good time to try to steal the base and creep back into this game 1 run closer.
Now Lagares has flied out and struck out tonight. And since his 12-game hitting streak, he's now 0 for his last 10. Young with 36 steals. That's 3rd in the National League. The ball trickles away. Young takes off. LaRoche's thrown to second. Not in time. It bounces away, and that's going to be an obstruction call. And Young arrives safely at 3rd base. Desmond got in his way, so even had Young been thrown out at 3rd, he would have been ruled safe on obstruction.
So there's going to be 2 errors on this play.
Both to LaRoche.
Both to LaRoche.
Well,
on one,
the second one will be on LaRoche.
Oh, definitely. There's no reason to throw that. No reason. Desmond could not get to that ball. Hit Young maybe in the back or the head.
that is definitely, they might give an error to the pitcher, but that's got to be 2 errors on LaRoche.
And that's exactly how they score it. Lagares pops one up, and LaRoche handles this one easily for the second out. So that's a disappointing at bat for Lagares with a runner at 3rd and 1 out. So Young remains at 3rd with 2 out for Daniel Murphy, who drove a long double to right center his last time up and scored the Mets' only run.
Well, we'll see how Zimmerman pitches Murph. Ronnie mentioned that Murph owns Zimmerman. He got the double off a fastball in, if you recalled, his last at bat. Defense pretty much slightly shade to the right, the opposite field. But he's pumping up. He needs an out here. He's going to go for a little extra in the tank here. Reach back.
You see the kind of year Murphy's had. Top 10 in the league in hits and doubles and runs scored. And a good stop by Ramos to keep Young at 3rd, 2-0. You can understand Zimmerman pitching carefully to Murphy, but you don't want to be too careful because you got Duda and the possibility of running into one on deck.
I think he's going to throw a little breaking ball to get in the back in the count, though.
Fastball popped up. And Span takes charge to retire the side. So a hit, a couple of errors, but the Mets again leave a runner. This time at 3rd base. Good decisive base running by Young. Taking off for 2nd and for 3rd. But the Mets leave him stranded there. After 5, still 3-1.
Murph's bad habit.
Worth leads off.
Well, in his last time up, little fastball supposed to be away. Goes 2-0 on Worth, and this slider to get back in, but this one, not a good one. Not as good as the 2-0 one. And lucky to keep that in the park the way things have been going the last 2 days.
Well, Worth has drilled 2 of them in the same direction, 1 over the wall and 1 off the wall. A home run and a double tonight. Fouls one off the right side, 0-1. Since that double by Worth, G has retired 8 in a row. Trying to hang around and keep his team in the game after giving a couple of early home runs and then that Worth RBI double. Each team with 5 hits as we start the 6th. One of the things that has characterized G's hot stretch has been his ability to work deeper into games. G's a guy who tends to be effective through about 90 pitches or so, but those 90 have been getting him into the 7th and the 8th inning. 2 balls and a strike to Worth. Ian Desmond on deck, and then Adam LaRoche for the Nats in the 6th. Every game of utmost importance to Washington right now as they try and stay alive in the National League wildcard race. And a 3rd hit of the night for Worth. This one's finding a gap, and it'll go to the wall. And Worth into second base with his 3rd extra base hit of the night, a home run and 2 doubles.
Well, that is just good hitting right there. And it wanted to come in, didn't get it in enough. He is a high ball hitter, belt high and up. You've got to keep the ball down on Worth. Every pitch of the 3 hits he's got have been belt high. You can see right there, wanted to come in and not getting it there.
Well, Worth took over the National League lead in slugging last night, and he's done nothing but increase that lead tonight with 8 total bases and 3 at bats. And now Ian Desmond, who's 0 for 2. And he hits one through the hole, a base hit. Worth to 3rd. He'll be held up there by Trent Jewett as Young gets it into the cutoff man. So Desmond has his first hit in this series, and the Nats have 1st and 3rd and nobody out.
Well, you see the Nats attacking first pitch, Ronnie. Get a first pitch fastball. Yes. Jump on it.
So G, who had retired 8 in a row coming into this inning, now in trouble. 1st and 3rd and nobody out for LaRoche, who hit an opposite field home run in the 2nd and then flied out to end the 3rd. Mets down by 2 runs in the 6th, but we'll have to play the infield back here and concede a run on a ground ball. Try and get a double play if they can.
Good call there by Dillon. You have to watch Desmond here. He needs 1 more bag to go 20-20.
It'll be for the 2nd straight year.
That'd be one stat as a pitcher I'd look at before the game.
He has struggled to control the running game this year. 12 steals against him. And the curveball in for a strike. And if you remember in the 3rd inning with Span at second base, got his attention a little distracted and gave up the double to Worth. Wilson Ramos on deck. G gets ahead of the count 0-2.
You know, with no outs, Gary, in this situation, I would stay with put if I were Desmond, because it kind of takes away G's changeup. Because, you know, Duda doesn't move well off first, keeps that hole open. It's a rare time when LaRoche has that hole open.
Right. Mets not playing the shift against LaRoche, which they used all night last night. He can use a strikeout. He's fan 4 tonight. Comes inside the LaRoche, 1-2.
Wow.
Well, last night the Reds were shut out by their former teammate Travis Wood. Tonight it's Edwin Jackson. Home runs by Wellington Castillo and Donnie Murphy for the Cubs, and Cubs doing their best to play spoiler in that division. Desmond goes back in standing. Well, Chris Davis has his 49th home run for the Orioles tonight. That's 2 off Brady Anderson's club record. Now the 1-2 in the dirt. Darno does well to stop it. 2-2.
Well, Darno in that squat, very good angle behind home plate. He's got to be in a position to throw with Desmond as a threat to steal. See how he's poised and ready.
That ball was destined for the 5-hole. And Darno able to stop it to keep Worth at third.
Don't want to get a full count here.
2-2 to LaRoche. He strokes that one foul. Wilson Ramos waits on deck. Worth at third, Desmond at first, nobody out. There goes Desmond. Thrown by Darno, a perfect one, and Desmond is out. And Worth holds at third. Great throw by Darno. 2-6 on the caught stealing for the first out of the inning.
Well, we know one thing. Darno can throw. Good pitch. Well, it's up. That's a nice pitch to throw, but he had to reach for it. But he's got a strong arm, Ronnie, and he gets rid of that ball quick.
Not much of a jump either there.
And he's dead to rights. And Quintanilla makes the proper tag.
Umpire after the call, Keith. Watch. He's got to get down, anticipating the throw from the shortstop.
Infield in, 3-2, and a ground ball off G. Worth holding at third, and Quintanilla throws out LaRoche for the second out. The Mets brought the infield in, and Worth read that as going back to the pitcher, so he froze at third.
Tough play for Worth here, particularly with G knocking it down on the backhand, doing the reverse spin to get a glove on it here. Tough chance. If he breaks right off the glove, he scores. And Worth's a very, very good base runner.
That's an interesting question, because your first read is that it's back to the mound, so you freeze. But when it goes off the glove, do you have time to make that second reaction?
Sometimes you can see he
got caught flat-footed, surprisingly.
2 out. Ramos at the plate. Infield back now. Yeah, that's outside.
That's why I didn't like the Desmond steal. First and third, no outs. What's the worst that can happen in that situation?
Right.
LaRoche hits into a double play. You get a run.
Yep. Well. OUT. I love that slow mo.
Line left field base hit, and so Ramos picks up his teammates with the 2-out hit to bring in Worth and make it 4-1.
Boy, those 2-out RBIs are backbreakers.
You're right, Keith, about that.
Geez, you're pitching your way out of a jam.
Tried to come in. Ball's up, though, not down.
Didn't get it. He got it in, but he wanted to get it in more. And they're just backbreakers. They're the toughest RBIs and the most demoralizing for a pitcher, particularly when he's ready to get out of an inning and you have to work hard for it.
Well, yet another big hit for Wilson Ramos against the Mets. And so the Nats stretch their lead back to 3 runs. Ramos at first with 2 out for Tyler Moore, who's 1 for 2. Now first and third and nobody out, and G was right on the precipice of getting out of trouble, but Ramos comes through with a big hit. Drops a curveball in for a strike, 0-2 to Moore. Lombardozzi would be next. Desmond's still shy of that 2020 year. Now the 0-2, and Moore watches the slider outside, 1-2. No, Wilson Ramos with that RBI hit lifts his career average against the Mets to a mere .438. And those 6 home runs and 23 RBIs have come in just 85 at bats. 1-2 from G. And Moore chases the slider for strike 3. 5 strikeouts for G, but the Nats tack on a run on Ramos's 2-out RBI hit. 4-1 Washington. Of the Rangers 1-0 in the third on an Andrew McCutchen RBI single. They've got Francisco Liriano on the mound. Pittsburgh a game behind St. Louis. The Cardinals no score with Milwaukee in the third. Reds start the day 2 games back. Lucas Duda leads off in the home 6th inning against Jordan Zimmerman. Duda is 0 for 2, flying to left, grounded to first. Zimmerman's allowed a run on 5 hits over 5 innings. He's had to work in trouble for most of the last 3 innings. But the Mets left a runner at third in the 3rd inning. They left 2 on in the 4th inning. They left a runner at third in the 5th inning. Tied to Duda 2-0. Justin Turner on deck, then Matt Dendecker for the Mets in the 6th. Turner's driven the only run for the Mets tonight. How many times have we said that in the last 4 or 5 days? Had the only RBI Friday night, and until the 9th had the only RBI on Sunday. Duda gets ahead of one and pulls it foul. Same section where the guy made the great catch earlier.
But there was a young lady who was thinking about it, and luckily she got out of Dodge because that thing was a little too fuerte for her. Whew.
Escape is the best option.
Shouldn't say for her, for anyone. Get in front of that.
Well, the one that the guy caught earlier, that 2-handed grab to protect the guy in the row behind him, that was play of the year.
He hasn't been able to hold his beer since.
That's, you know.
Is it worth it?
For him,
okay.
Forever. Pulled through the hole, a base hit for Duda. Chased toward the line by Worth. Makes the sliding stop and holds Duda to a single. That's a terrific defensive play by Worth. Duda snaps an 0 for 12 with a hard hit single to lead off the 6th.
Well, Worth can pick it out there. A lot of ground to cover, long strides. But just nice play, prevents the double.
He really has done it all for them this year, hasn't he? So now Turner, who had the base hit to left field to drive in the Mets' only run in the 4th. Mets now have 6 hits against Zimmerman. And the leadoff man on for the third time in the last 4 innings.
Good slider right there.
It's his best one, Keith. He didn't try to overthrow this one.
Good pitch.
This is inside with the fastball, 1-1. Turner started 34 games this year, but he's now started 6 in a row. As the Mets have been depleted, his role has become larger. 1-2 to Justin. Get to Citi Field this Sunday afternoon. The first 25,000 fans attending the 110 game against the Marlins will receive a Mets knit hat courtesy of Caesars. And after the game, kids 12 and under can run the bases, presented by Banana Boat. Get to Mets.com for tickets.
Have we had a decision made? Are we going to be able to get our hands on at least one of our bobbleheads? I would like one.
There's a meeting that's going to take place, and they'll let us know.
I've been losing sleep.
It's a very nice bobblehead.
I know. I've seen it. I'd like one. I'm not asking for the moon.
Only the stars.
My daughters would like one too.
2-2 to Turner. Perhaps there's an extra box lying around somewhere.
I'll pay.
Ooh, that adds a whole different wrinkle.
It's like the scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's in this big warehouse at some point in a crate.
Pulled just foul. Well, if you're willing to pay, if you go on eBay.
No, I'm not willing to do that.
You can find them.
Nope.
Might be a little pricey, though. After all, it was a limited edition. So limited.
Can have one.
That's right.
Duda at first and nobody out. 7th pitch of the at bat coming to Turner. And he hits it in the air pretty deep to center field. Back goes Span to the warning track near the wall, and it's off the fence. Duda to third. He'll be held up there. And Turner into second with a wall scraper. Nearly had it out for his 3rd home run in a week, but just barely missed and settles for a double.
Well, Duda's tagging up here. He's actually could have got around. He could have got around second base a little more off the top of the fence. Well, just not a good read at all. He should have scored in that ball. It's off the wall.
Missed a home run by just a foot or so. Turner hit his first 2 of the season in Cleveland over the weekend and nearly had another one. So the Mets have the tying run at the plate, 2nd and 3rd and nobody out in a 4-1 game in the 6th. And now Matt Dendecker, who's walked and struck out tonight, 0 for 1. Steve McCatty, the Washington pitching coach, will come out for a conversation with Zimmerman, who has given up only 1 run tonight, but has looked out of sorts at times in a way we're not used to seeing. Xavier Cedeno, the left-hander, Craig Stammen, the right-hander, up in the Nationals bullpen.
I was talking to some people, including Steve McCatty, about Jordan Zimmerman, and said that it seems like he had a dead arm period about a month ago. And then the last couple of starts, he's been better. But we've been talking about his frustration on the mound that you usually don't see from Jordan. A lot of times that comes from just not having your good stuff, not having that good fastball makes you frustrated. And he's in the middle of it right now.
Big Black up in the Mets bullpen as the Mets work down toward the bottom of the batting order. Well, Zimmerman used to throwing strikes, only 2nd to Cliff Lee in percentage of strikes thrown.
And that wouldn't be the number tonight, certainly. Washington giving up a run, infield back.
Duda at 3rd, Turner at 2nd. And Dendecker watches off the plate for ball one. Just 62% strikes for Zimmerman tonight. Well, the Mets have had base runners, but just 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Another chance here with Dendecker. Infield back conceding a run. And Zimmerman falls behind him 2-0 and looking even more frustrated. Travis d'Arnaud waiting on deck. Now Zimmerman behind 2-0 and Dendecker up there swinging and swings through the fastball 2-1.
Boy, 2-0 count. That's Fernando Abad, the former Astro. So that's strength against strength.
Also, all the 2-0 fastballs we've seen taken this year. It's nice to see Dendecker swinging there. Now the 2-1. And he lines one over short, base hit. That brings in Duda. Turner being waved home. He will score. It's a 2-run single from Matt Dendecker. And the Mets are now within a run. It's 4-3. Career RBIs number 4 and 5 for Dendecker.
Nice hitting. Fastball away and a good pitch. Down and away. Went right with it. That's what you do. That's impressive. It's not a bad pitch.
And that's going to be all for Jordan Zimmerman.
And that's an easy score for both runners, both the ball in the gap.
So Zimmerman is out after 5 innings plus. The call to the bullpen is brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Mets have the tying run on base, down by a run in the 6th. We'll be right back. For Dendecker, but watch Turner as he motors between third and home.
Right about here. There he pulls up.
And comes toward the dugout, grabs at his hamstring.
And another one bites the dust. There it is.
He headed down the tunnel to the clubhouse, and so it looks like Turner's going to have to lead this game after he comes in to score. Dendecker with the 2-run hit. He's now the tying run aboard as Craig Stammen takes over the pitching for the Nats.
Well, Stammen's been unbelievable. 7 wins this season, but his last 16 appearances, ERA 0.73. Heritage runners, though, not very good.
Darno takes a fastball for a strike. Darno snapped an 0 for 14 with a base hit up the middle his last time up. That's with 3 straight hits to chase Jordan Zimmerman in the 6th. Zimmerman goes 5 innings plus, allows 8 hits, 3 runs so far, a walk and 4 strikeouts. Darno swinging at the sinker, 0-2.
Well, that's a good one there by Stammen. Late sink. You know that Darno likes that ball down and in, but that pitch was nasty.
Dendecker at first already has a stolen base tonight, his 3rd of the year. Each team now with 8 hits in the game. Strike 3 called. 3 fastballs, and Darno is caught looking for the first out.
Borderline. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's too close to take. That's just a good pitch.
Kind of crossfire, so that ball goes across the plate.
That's a strike.
So that's the first out of the inning. Now Omar Quintanilla, who singled to left and fly to center, 1 for 2. The pitcher is due up behind Quintanilla. Mike Baxter has come out on deck to bat for Dylan G. Tying run at first and 1 out. Dendecker dives back in.
We see Quintanilla take a pitch here, allowing Dendecker to steal this base early in the count.
Took a long look down at Tim Tuffle to see what might be on. Does not take a pitch. There's Mike Baxter, who was just recalled yesterday from Las Vegas. Now to pinch hit for G. It was not Dylan's best night tonight. Fell behind 3-0 and 4-1. But stuck around through 6. Vic Black getting ready in the bullpen. And Stammen very aware of Dendecker at first base.
Yeah, he's doing a nice job of keeping Dendecker close.
Stammen has allowed 7 stolen bases in 9 tries this year.
That's a lot.
He's running. The throw by Ramos is a good one, and Dendecker is tagged out. Nice diving tag by Ian Desmond, and that's the 2nd out of the inning.
Nice throw by Ramos. 2 runners gunned down. Not an easy pitch to throw. And out by a mile. And when you're down a run, boy, you better make it. He's looking over his shoulder. I don't think that was a hit and run. You don't hit and run when you're down a run.
No.
So.
Well, Darno threw out Desmond in a big spot at the top of the inning, and now Ramos does the same with Dendecker. And a nice diving stop by Zimmerman, and gets up and throws out Quintanilla, side retired. Ryan Zimmerman showing off his Gold Glove form, but the Mets get closer on Dendecker's 2-run hit. 4-3 Nationals after 6. play.
Well, they don't give the gold away for nothing, but look at how he throws. He's had the shoulder problems.
Had the surgery last winter, but the arm angle is better for him lower these days. Dylan G continues on.
I'm sorry.
Josh Satin comes in to play third base after Justin Turner left with an apparent hamstring injury. Pedro Feliciano will stay busy in the Mets bullpen. Lombardozzi pulls one just foul. Corey Brown has come out on deck to bat for the pitcher Stammen. G has struck out 5 tonight. He hasn't walked a batter. He's given up 4 runs and 8 hits. Lombardozzi playing second base tonight has grounded out and struck out. And he fouls away the changeup. Let's check in with Kevin.
Talking with Scott Hairston today about Dylan G, and asked him about some of the traits that he saw in his former teammate. He said, well, first of all, he's my fantasy football teammate, so I got to speak highly of him. But he said, I was always impressed with his composure. Good outing, bad outing, he never let it bother him, went out and pitched. And you can see tonight he's struggling up in the zone a little bit, but he's still gone out there and battled. But Ronnie, kind of the point that you've made a lot. Hairston said, I think the thing that's been the difference, and I've tried to watch when I can, is he is pitching inside. He's been aggressive. I think he believes a lot more in his stuff. He said, I haven't faced him this year. He said, but as a hitter facing that type of guy and watching him on film as I have, he said the difficult thing is you just don't know what's coming. 0-2 could be a breaking ball. 3-2 could be a change, and he mixes it up enough where it's very, very difficult to gauge exactly what is coming. So those things, what has happened to Dylan G.
Now the 2-2, and it's outside. 3-2.
Kevin, I told you I was talking earlier with some Nationals hitters and just about facing G, and they said there's a real unpredictability to what pitch you're going to get because he has 4 different pitches, and that's been his strength.
Lofted down the right field line, and that'll go in the seats. A foul ball.
And I also think that the outfield defense has turned him into a more confident pitcher. I really do. I think the fact that everything out there now gets caught has changed his approach, and he's not worried about being a little bit more aggressive if one leaks out over the plate.
There were games like this early in his career that if he gave up runs early, you could predict that he was not going to stay around long. But look, a manager has confidence enough to leave him in there.
Lombardozzi pops it up, and Young eases in. 1 away. So G gets the first out in the 7th, and now Zach Walters will be the pinch hitter. They had Corey Brown on deck momentarily, but they go to Walters, who appeared last night as a pinch runner. He's had only 1 at bat with the Nationals, and that was the hit that broke up the Jose Fernandez no-hit bid in Miami last week. A little nubber on the left side of the infield.
Darno and G, because of the newness of Walters, are going to talk about it, as Scott Hairston and Kevin was talking about. In fact, Dan Worthen, the pitching coach, is going to go out and talk to Dylan G. Make sure they got the scouting report right. Usually it goes like this. What's this guy hit, Danny? Well, he likes the ball. This, or this. And he'll go through the scouting report. Dylan will get it. Darno's got it. And he'll tell you, while you're out there, how to go get him out.
Big block the right-hander. Pedro Feliciano the left-hander up in the Mets bullpen. Walters batting 1,000 in the major leagues. 24 years old, out of the University of San Diego. Drafted by the Diamondbacks, who traded him to Washington in a deal for Jason Marquis a couple of summers ago. And the switch hitter drives one into right center, and now he's 2 for 2 in the big leagues. A much more solid hit than his first one. And the Nats have a 1-out base run.
Well, sinker, a little off speed, nice hitting. Nothing wrong with that.
That's going to be all for Dylan G, with Denard Span, a left-hand hitter, coming up. Terry Collins will go to Pedro Feliciano. And so G, who was not at his best tonight, still perseveres through 6 1/3 and leaves it a 1-run game. Feliciano coming on. We'll be right back to Citi Field. Buchholz off the disabled list. Ho-hum, 6 scoreless innings, and the Red Sox lead the Rays 2-0 in the 7th. The Royals got a home run from Alcides Escobar, and they lead Cleveland 5-1 in the 7th. And Andrew McCutcheon's RBI infield hit, the only run of the game so far. Pittsburgh won 1-0 last night. They just added another run, 2-0 Pittsburgh in the 5th, as they lead the Rangers as Pedro Feliciano comes on to pitch for the Mets.
Second in team history. This is 475th appearance.
Dylan G goes 6 1/3, 4 runs so far on 9 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts. Feliciano in to face Denard Span, who's 1 for 3 tonight and throws a fastball by him, 0-1. Span doubled down the right field line and scored a run in the 3rd. Now is a 21-game hitting streak.
Well, Span hitting 199 against left-handers.
Ryan Zimmerman and Jason Worth to follow. So this is probably a 1-batter outing for Feliciano. And another fastball, and he gets ahead 0-2. Pedro faced 2 batters on Sunday in Cleveland. He struck out Jason Kipnis and then gave up a broken bat hit to Carlos Santana. He used to be perpetual Pedro, and now he's perforated Pedro. One day off, one day off. Ahead 0-2 on Span, with Walters at first and 1 out, and the slider off the plate, 1-2. Now the 1-2. Double play ball to short. They'll have to hurry against Span's speed. Dug out by Duda. They got him. 6-4-3 double play. Side retired. Quintanilla to Murphy, and Duda with a nice play on the scoop. And they double up the speedy Span to get through the top of the 7th. 4-3 Nationals going to the bottom of the Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. Tomorrow, get all the latest from the Jets as they gear up for their Thursday night matchup against the Pats, plus a preview of tomorrow's Mets-Nats game with live reports from Citi Field on Daily News Live, presented by Citi, tomorrow at 5 p.m. only on SNY. Corey Brown will take over in left field for defense for the Nats as we go to the bottom of the 7th, and Drew Storen will pitch the 7th inning.
Well, he was the saves leader a couple of seasons ago, but then lost his job when they signed Soriano. Had a tough beginning to the season, was sent down to the minor leagues, has come back with kind of a revamped pitching from the stretch. It's been a little better.
Mike Baxter, just back from Las Vegas yesterday, will be the pinch hitter. Mike's hitting just .208, but 7 for 21 as a pinch hitter this year. He hit over .400 as a pinch hitter last year. That is his niche. And he'll lead off with the Mets down a run as they come to bat in the bottom of the 7th. And Baxter takes up and away for ball 1. Baxter's been up and down a couple of times between the Mets and Las Vegas this year. Hit .289 for the 51s this year with 7 home runs. He hits this one to center. Span comes on to grab it, and Baxter's retired, 1 away.
That was a good read by Span.
Playing shallow, that made all the difference in the world. That could have been a soft liner base hit. But Span playing, well, not that shallow. It's a perfect jump. Good call, Ron. He got a good jump on it. Too much air time.
So now Eric Young will bat with 1 out and nobody on. Young is 1 for 3 tonight. He singled through the hole into left his last time up, and then took second and third on a pair of errors by Adam LaRoche on an attempted pickoff, but was stranded there.
Could see a bunt here by Young.
Pulls one just foul. .245, huh?
That's your number. Anything two plus, right?
Over 2. We're there.
All right.
Jeez. Take a flyer on that one.
It's tomorrow night, right?
You never know. Oh, that's the other one.
Well, I told Ronnie that if I win, he said, I don't want you to win because we'll lose you. I said, no. I'll stay, but we get the private plane for us to fly.
That's very kind of you.
Story gets it over for a strike, and it's 0-2 to Young.
Maybe we can reintroduce the shrimp appetizers. If we could.
Juan Lagares waiting on deck. We might even travel the stat guy if that happens.
That guy?
Sure. Who else would you want? I don't know. Dave Fried is so busy this time of year with his football. Just finished with the Liberty. Before you know it, he'll be doing NBA.
Dave
barely has time for us.
Isn't he doing some basketball or something in
Bosnia,
Slavonia or something?
Exactly.
Dave can fly coach.
1-2 to Young with 1 out and nobody on. And the curveball sits high from Storen, 2-2. Young 1 for 3 in his career against Drew Storen. Storen, after getting ahead 2 strikes, messing around with the breaking stuff, and he's gone full to Young. Zimmerman attacked Young with fastballs all night.
Storen's a young man, a lot of talent. Came on like gangbusters beginning of his career, and kind of has come back to the pack a little bit.
Vic Black has been up a couple of times in the Mets bullpen tonight.
But he's a good kid, hard worker. He'll figure it out. He's got lots of talent.
And there's ball 4, and Young is aboard with a 1-out walk. So after he got ahead 0-2, he loses Young, and maybe as good as a double.
Not the guy you want to walk.
He's extremely slow to the plate, too. So this will be a real opportunity for Eric Young. Hopefully Lagares gets a the sign of trying to give him a chance to steal that base.
You know, Ronnie, you talked about Storen and the fact that he's come back to the pack. Guy who takes a very short path from college to the big leagues. Sometimes that's exactly what happens, right? You get some instant success, but then it may not be so consistent.
Yeah, and I think also the thing that happened to Drew, and it's the hangover effect from the postseason, Gary. And you have a bad game. They go out and sign a closer. So not only did you have a bad game, but you lost your closer job. That just compounds one thing after another, and you lose your confidence.
Now Lagares, and we'll see how quickly Young runs. Not on the first pitch as Lagares takes a strike. Lagares 0 for 3 tonight, hitless in his last 11 at bats. Mets have the tying run at first with 1 out. Young with 36 steals, third in the National League. He's running. The throw by Ramos. He got him.
What a throw.
A perfect throw by Ramos. He guns down his second of the night. Young didn't think so, but Jim Reynolds with the call. A bang-bang play at second.
Boy, oh boy, I tell you what, we're seeing some good throws from the catchers tonight. Well, he got him. He just did. That is one heck of a throw. Just beat his foot in.
Very Molina-like by Ramos right there in his 18th straight start.
I mean, this is the right play, trying to steal the bag. It's your base stealer. It's just a great throw.
So 2 out and nobody on. A 1-1 count to Lagares. And he takes a fastball from Storen for a strike. 1-2. Well, in the last inning, Ramos gunned down Dendecker trying to steal after the Mets had gotten within a run, and now he takes care of Young. Big part of the Mets offense has been their aggressiveness on the bases, so you can't fault either Dendecker or Young.
There's no fault. They're not scoring enough runs. You got to get runners into scoring position. Just 2 perfect throws by the catcher.
Now the 2-2. And that's too high. Lagares works the count full with Daniel Murphy on deck.
I tell you what, that just shows the value. When they say that you have to be strong up the middle to win, it's critical to have a catcher that has a good glove back there, good defensive skills, and can throw.
We've seen it with d'Arnaud tonight as well. 3-2. And Lagares fights it off. As Aaron Harang will make his Mets debut on Thursday afternoon in the final game of this series. For a long time, a dependable National League starter, struggled in the American League this year with Seattle. And Lagares takes up an in for ball 4.
Jeez.
So back-to-back walks issued by Storen with the caught stealing in between. And again, the Mets have the tying run aboard.
You drive your manager crazy.
Well, they did not have a left-hander up in the bullpen, which is a little surprising considering they've got 3 lefties out there now. So Murphy will face Storen.
Especially back-to-back left-handers, right? With Murphy and Duda.
Murphy's 1 for 4 in his career against Storen. So Lagares at first. Murphy 1 for 3, a long double to right center in the 4th. He scored a run and takes the breaking ball for a strike.
So Storen looks like he has a hard time putting people away. Gets ahead and then just can't put the dagger in. Hamlet.
These hands.
To be or not to be? Alas, poor Europe.
That's funny. Ryan Dern came over and did some pitching when from the Yankees. He went over, the hard thrower, and pitched with Cincinnati. And Rusty Staub told me that he just couldn't put the hitters away with that blazing fastball. He'd get ahead, but couldn't put you away.
Here's a strike. And Storen's ahead 1-2. Vic Black will be on the pitch for the Mets in the 8th inning. Now Murphy finds himself in a hole. One-two from Storen. Golfed in the air to center field, chasing Span back, but he's got plenty of room, and that retires the side. Couple of walks, one left. On to the 8th we go. 4-3 Washington. The game in right field, and the new pitcher Vic Black makes his Citi Field debut.
Well, you can see the numbers, but even more interesting to me was the tweet that Mr. Black sent out, and he found out that the Express 7 train is better than the local. That is something that, if you're from Texas, it takes you at least a couple days to figure that out.
I think that's admirable that he got to it that quickly in his second day back in New York.
Well, Zimmerman in his last at-bat against G. Nice down and away fastball. Fastball kind of missed a little up and over the plate, but this one was down. And Keith mentioned it before. If you stay down on Zimmerman, you got a good chance. Anything belt high or up, Worth is the same kind of hitter, you're going to be in trouble.
Zimmerman, Worth, and Desmond for the Nationals in the 8th inning. Vic Black last pitched on Sunday, went an inning and a third against the Indians, no runs, no hit. So he came in behind Daisuke and hit Asdrubal Cabrera with a pitch to force in the tying run, but then retired the next 4 hitters. Zimmerman 0 for 3 tonight, and he fouls one off d'Arnaud, who has had himself a rough night.
The thing about d'Arnaud, and this is strange to say, sometimes he doesn't square up. The ball will come and he kind of turns his body. Watch him turn his body a little here. No, let me take that back. He turned once the ball hit. I apologize for that. Nothing wrong there. Just a check swing that got him right in the hip, but he's got a smile still.
Tyler Clippard up in the Nationals bullpen, getting ready for the bottom of the 8th. Nats looking for some insurance against Black in the top of the 8th. And Zimmerman takes a breaking ball inside, 1-1. Dylan G went 6 1/3, allowed 4 runs, 9 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts. He's on the hook in this game. Pedro Feliciano faced 1 batter, got a double play to end the 7th. And now Black misses outside, 2-1. And Zimmerman lifts one to right. Easy for Baxter, who barely has to move. One out.
How do you get Jason Worth out right now? You don't. Even when you make pretty good pitches away. This one off the plate. This one up. Gets behind. Fastball trying to come in. Middle. Upstairs. And just right now, he's red hot.
3 extra base hits in this game. A home run in the first inning. A double to left center in the third. And a double to right center in the sixth. So he's 5 for 8 in this series with 2 doubles and 2 home runs. So Black will try and cool down, the hottest hitter since July 1st in the National League. And he takes a fastball for a strike.
Black doesn't mess around. When he gets on the mound, gets a sign, he's coming.
He really has that gunslinger's attitude.
He does. Gets it. Here it comes.
He's got a good arm.
And he whips it in at 97, and it's 0-2. Ian Desmond on deck. The slider bounced foul. We got Jack Black and School of Rock. We got Vic Black on the mound. Here's the 0-2. Up and away, and it goes to the backstop. 1-2. Vic Black from Amarillo, Texas, Dallas Baptist University. Came over to the Mets in the deal that sent Marlon Byrd and John Buck to the Pirates. He is the instant reward for that trade. The other piece will be several years away, the young second baseman Dilson Herrera. And that just missed. 2-2. Herrera's playing for Savannah as they play in the championship series with the South Atlantic League this week. The last Met farm team that is still in action. Now the 2-2 to Worth. Fly ball, shallow left. And Young eases in. 2 out. So 2 hitters, 2 fly ball outs for Black as he gets Zimmerman and Worth. And that will take on the cleanup hitter Ian Desmond. Desmond 1 for 3, single to left. His first hit in the series his last time up, but then was caught stealing by Travis d'Arnaud. Caught stealings have played a big role in this game.
Huge. I mean, Ramos has driven in the 4th run, catcher for the Nationals, and thrown out 2 Mets runners in the last couple of innings.
We got a medical report on Justin Turner, and as we suspected, tightness in his right hamstring as he scored from second base on the base hit by Den Decker in the 6th. Add him to the list. Boy. I mean, the Mets have had, over the last 4 or 5 years, an inordinate number of injuries, but particularly late in seasons to decimate their roster, and here we are again.
It's a good slider, almost like a cutter, Ronnie.
Yeah, cutting action.
I like his stuff. He's a power pitcher.
His whole thing is whether he throws enough strikes. Just the control issues really have held him back.
Hit down to first. Duda's got it. And that retires the side. So Black's first inning on the Citi Field mound results in a 1-2-3. Mets come up in the bottom of the 8th, down by a run. Season record for most intentional walks?
That's a good question, by the way.
Standing question.
Yeah.
Any idea?
No. Thinking of the tall guy, tall man from Crenshaw.
Could be. Could be.
What, the catcher?
Be 31.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, Game 3 of this series. Zach Wheeler against Dan Herron. Our coverage begins at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Mets and Nats right here on SNY. Tommy Clippard will pitch the bottom of the 8th inning for Washington.
Well, another fine year for Clippard. He just keeps rolling along since his debut as a starter for the Yankees in Flushing at Shea Stadium. Since then, once he's gone into the pen, he has the most strikeouts out of the pen since that time in 2009.
Well, this is a time when the Mets could use Jordani Valdespin, who was homered off Clippard, or David Wright, who's homered off Clippard 3 times. But Lucas Duda will try his hand leading off in the bottom of the 8th. Duda 1 for 3. Got the Mets started in the 6th inning with a base hit to right and scored a run. Josh Satin, who took over for the injured Justin Turner, is on deck, and then Matt Dendecker. And a call strike from Clippard, 0-1. And Satin, who will be batting for the first time. You know, I'm thinking about Turner. You never get hurt when you're in a slump, right? Turner has been hitting the ball the last 4 or 5 days like he hasn't all year. And that's when he gets hurt.
Well, it's a shame for Justin because he would have got tons of playing time down the stretch. But you know what? You know what you're going to get with Turner. The more he plays, the more hits he gets. He's just a clutch ball player who knows how to play the game.
One to Duda. And he grounds one weakly to Lombardozzi. And there's the first down at the bottom of the 8th.
That's a big out for Clippard and the Nationals right there. The big power bat in the lineup.
So now Josh Satin bats for the first time tonight. Satin came off the bench last night and went 0 for 2. Just 2 hits in his last 18 at bats at .281 for the year.
There you go for the outfielders. No double defense. As deep as you can play.
Clippard gets the curveball over for a strike.
Clippard's strength is that it's all arms and legs when he comes at you. He can throw 3 pitches for strikes. That curveball neutralizes the right-handed hitters. Changeup neutralizes left-handed hitters, and he'll surprise you with that high fastball.
Satin takes the fastball wide, 1-1. Matt Dendecker, who has the biggest hit in this game for the Mets, is waiting on deck. Nationals 4 runs, 9 hits. The Mets 3 runs and 8 hits. Well, you got Satin, who hits the ball to all fields. The Nats are guarding the line at third with Zimmerman, but not guarding the line at first with LaRoche.
And he has the ability to go to right field.
And we're seeing that so much in today's game, where managers are not guarding lines like they used to. There's Davey.
Do you remember in your day, did Davey always guard the lines late in games?
Ken Boyer was more a guy that didn't like it, believe it or not. And a corner infielder, and a very good one. Kenny always felt you got beat more in the hole than you did down the line, but still, I think late and tight, Ronnie, you want to keep that double play in order, don't you?
Plus, yeah, and Clippard throws a lot of changeups, so what are you going to do with a changeup? More apt to pull it if you're a right-handed hitter.
Frank Francisco on the right, LaTroy Hawkins on the left, up in the Mets bullpen. Francisco made his rather stunning return to action on Sunday. And Satin goes down to the fastball. 2 out in the inning.
That high fastball, it just surprises you, Keith.
You got to make Clippard get it down. He comes over the top. He's got a big motion. under it. He's right on. His eyes are on the ball, but out of the strike zone.
So now Matt Dendecker, who's walked, struck out, and singled in 2 runs. He's also stolen a base tonight. Your Audi Mets box score: Dendecker with that 2 RBI hit. Mets have had 8 hits tonight. Justin Turner had a pair of hits before he was forced to leave the game with a hamstring injury. Dendecker bats with 2 out and nobody on. He hits it in the air to right center field. Worth back onto the warning track. And he has room to make the catch. And that's certainly aware of Dendecker's power. He had a second deck home run in D.C., but this time Clippard and Worth had enough. On SNY is brought to you by Hyundai. The amazing deals keep rolling in at the Hyundai Truckload of Savings event now through September 30th. By Geico and by AT NYN, rethink possible. Well, for his first time on the Citi Field mound in 2013, Frank Francisco.
Oh, you see that walk, which bloated the bases, but he got Struble Cabrera to ground into a double play in Cleveland.
So coming back from off-season elbow surgery, 5.5 months late, Francisco makes his second appearance. Adam LaRoche will lead off for the Nationals as we go to the 9th, and for the first time tonight, the Mets will put on the full shift against LaRoche, who has homered, flied out, and grounded out tonight, 1 for 3.
Well, Francisco with the split finger off-speed pitch, ball that can roll over. Purely a percentage play here. They've already got LaRoche and a couple ground balls to Murph.
And the fastball misses to LaRoche, ball 1. Well, the Met bullpen has gotten 5 outs. Feliciano faced 1 batter, got a double play. Vic Black worked to 1, 2, 3/8. Tim Burdack stays busy in the Mets bullpen. Pulled down to first, pass Duda, and down the line off the jutting stance. Murphy will go out to play it, and that will hold LaRoche to a single. That is the added benefit of having Murphy play in that triangle defense. Otherwise, that's a double.
Well, just out of the reach of Lucas.
A nice job here by the ball boy with the Olay. This is the play past Lucas. Hit extremely hard.
Murphy immediately aware that he could get over and play that ball off the sidewall. So that's important, keeping the double play in order as Wilson Ramos, a double play candidate, comes to bat. Ramos 1 for 3, drove in a run with a base hit in the 6th, and as Ronnie mentioned, has really had a big game with his arm tonight, throwing out 2 potential base stealers in the 6th and 7th in a 1-run game.
Soriano has been less than perfect. I'm talking about the closer for Washington, so imperative that you hold the Nationals here.
There is Rafael Soriano getting ready for the last of the night. The Nats have a left-hand hitter on deck, Corey Brown, and so that's why Burdack is loosening in the Mets bullpen. Check swings foul when it's 0-2 to Ramos. Story developing in St. Louis, at least it was. Willie Peralta for the Milwaukee Brewers held the Cardinals without a hit for the first 5 2/3. Matt Holliday just broke it up with a 2-run homer, and the Cardinals go up 2-0 in the bottom of the 6th.
Peralta's had some good starts, hasn't he?
It's got
in the second half. Yep.
So the Cardinals, who lead by a game in the NL Central, now leading that game. Pittsburgh's up 4-1 on Texas in the 6th. 0-2 to Wilson Ramos. Up and in with the fastball. That got his attention.
No, not that close. Little message.
That close up here.
Easy.
It's not your chin. LaRoche a slow runner at first. Ramos a slow runner at the plate. And Francisco strikes out Ramos for the first down of the inning. Nicely done by Frank.
Fastball inside, beats him bad. Good pitch. Running in. Tardy.
And that'll be all for Francisco. With the left-hand hitter coming up, Terry Collins will bring Tim Burdack into the game to face Corey Brown. So Francisco faces 2 batters, takes his exit. 4-3 Nats in the 9th. We'll be right back. From Met, Strawberry Piazza, Howard Johnson. How about that? That would have been my 7th guess.
That's because Hojo, because Straw's batting behind him.
That was not one of Hojo's big years. Remember, he had the great odd-numbered years. 88 was not his best season. 14 of those 25 intentional walks were batting 7th with Kevin Elster behind him.
Yes, that's it. And I bet you it was a right-hand pitcher. He's hitting left-handed.
Yeah.
You didn't want to. You'd pitch to Hojo if he was batting right-handed.
Right. I'm sure every time they played the Cardinals, because Whitey was sick of him hitting home runs off Todd Worrell.
Ellie's still having psychoanalysis because of that year.
Who was the other guy at Pirates that threw bullets? Gott. He took Gott deep.
Scott Hairston will bat for Corey Brown with the left-hander Tim Burdack in the game. And he hits a rocket to deep left field. Back goes Young onto the warning track back near the wall. It's out of here. The former Met Scott Hairston, first pitch, hits a 2-run pinch hit home run, and the Nationals stretch their lead to 6-3. 8 home runs in the first 2 games of this series for Washington, as Hairston does in his old mates.
The Nationals have made this park look small over 2 days, haven't they?
10th home run for Hairston. And it has just been an impressive display of power.
That's his 3rd pinch hit home run this season. So Hairston gives the Nats the insurance that they wanted. Now Lombardozzi pops one up, and Satin comes in from 3rd to call, and that's the 2nd out. David Johnson pushing the right button with Hairston.
First pitch, another lazy hanging slide piece, and that's what usually happens to it. Same slider that Swisher hit the grand slam off of him in Cleveland.
I think as a pitcher, you're thinking you're going to get an automatic strike if you spin the ball first pitch. But any pinch hitter is thinking what when they go to the plate? Aggressive on that first pitch.
And Jeff Coburnis will be the pinch hitter, batting for Tyler Clippard. Coburnis, who was with the Nationals earlier this year, September call-up.
So Davey Johnson pressing the right buttons.
Well, he used Hairston to pinch hit for Brown. He brought Brown in for defense, used Hairston to pinch hit, and now he'll leave Coburnis in the game for defense again. And that's the advantage you have with the expanded rosters. Moves you could not have made the first 5 months of the season. Which brings up an entirely different conversation about whether that should be the case.
Look at this kid hustling.
Oh, he came across 3 sections and he
caught
caught the ball.
Yeah, that's good hustle. Good lateral movement. Excellent range.
He must have done those basketball defensive drills in college.
That's right.
Side to side.
Keep your hands up.
Knees bent. 2-2 to Coburnis. Well, the Nats' ability with the long ball has been enormous in this series. 5 home runs last night, 3 more tonight. And a chance to pick up some more ground in the National League wildcard race, with the Reds getting hammered by the Cubs again tonight. It's 9-0 Chicago in the 7th inning, after the Cubs shut out the Reds last night. So if that holds up and the Nats win, all of a sudden they're only 6 games behind with 18 to play, and they'll have a chance. 3-2, and Coburnis pops it up. Murphy with the angle, called off by Baxter. Side retired, but not before Scott Hairston's 2-run pinch hit home run gives the Nats a 3-run cushion for Rafael Soriano. Stay in the game and play left field for the Nationals. Rafael Soriano will bid for his 40th save of the year.
Well, after a huge year last year with the Yankees, with Mariano Rivera, with that hurt knee, it hasn't been perfect for Soriano this year. People that talk about him say that his slider has not been the same it was last season.
Mets left Travis d'Arnaud, Omar Quintanilla, and Mike Baxter due up in the last of the ninth. The Nationals have been ahead right from the jump tonight. They scored in each of the first 3 innings against Dylan G. Mets got within 4-3, but Hairston's home run opens up a 3-run lead. d'Arnaud is 1 for 3 tonight, single to center field in the 4th. Quintanilla waits on deck. And Soriano falls behind 2-0. Well, the Nats have gotten 2 2/3 hitless innings out of their bullpen behind Jordan Zimmerman, who was good but not great tonight. Zimmerman left after 5 innings plus, 3 runs, 8 hits. Stammen got 2 outs, Storin a hitless inning, and Clippard a 1-2-3 inning. Soriano threw a fastball by d'Arnaud, who was up there swinging on 2-0, down by 3 runs.
Don't get it. Got to get people on base. That's 3-0 with a chance to walk and get base runners. But
unless your skipper said go to Hacken.
Yeah, you're right.
You'd love to get him going. That is part of the deal. And he drives this one to center field for a base hit. So Hacking worked. Second hit of the ninth for Travis d'Arnaud. That is very good for the Mets to see.
Fastball down the middle, and he opts. That's what I like right there. You're struggling at the plate. That's a ball you could pull, and his intent was to go up the middle. So that's the way to get it back. Nicely done.
He's hit a ball on his first at bat, bullet to LaRoche, a base hit up the middle, and on this base hit to right center field. All the things you like, Keith, when you're struggling.
Yep.
So the Mets need one more base runner to get the tying run to the plate in the ninth. Omar Quintanilla tonight 1 for 3, robbed of a hit on a great play by Ryan Zimmerman his last time up. And he takes a fastball for a strike. Mike Baxter hitting 9th in the order on deck. Quintanilla held the swing, 1-1. The Nationals 6 runs, 11 hits. The Mets 3 runs and 9 hits. The difference 3 Washington home runs after 5 last night. Soriano's 1-1, and Quintanilla pops it up. Zimmerman taking charge. 1 out. Geico Sports Night, the only show that's only New York sports. The Jets and Pats get ready for Thursday night football. Manning versus Manning, and all the baseball as well. Geico Sports Night tonight after the postgame, only on SNY. Now Mike Baxter, who pinch hit in the 7th inning and flied out to center field. Staying in the game in right. Facing Soriano with 1 out and 1 on. And takes it wide for ball 1. LaRoche playing behind d'Arnaud with a 3-run lead. Eric Young, the on-deck batter. 1-0 to Baxter, and he lifts this one to left. And Hairston is there. 2 out. So after the leadoff hit by d'Arnaud, Soriano gets the next 2, and the Mets are down to their final out of the night with Eric Young trying to keep it going. If he does, Andrew Brown, who's celebrating his 29th birthday today, would be on deck to be the tying run. It would be the perfect scenario, right?
Last great birthday for a baseball player.
29?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it. But if you get to 39, that's a good one, too.
That is. You're still playing.
Speaking of 29, Soriano trying to get the final out against Young, who's 1 for 3 and a walk tonight. And Eric rips one foul. Got a high fastball and hacked at it. Young watches wide, a ball and a strike. Jarno at first and 2 out. And Young takes it high, 2-1. Trying to get on base any way he can to get the tying run to the plate here in the bottom of the ninth.
Soriano can do this. He can just lose the plate. Takes forever to throw. Very methodical.
Two and 1 to Eric Young. And there it's 3-1.
It's like 4-run lead here. Hit it.
Methodical is the word. I was thinking lethargic.
He's only walked 14 batters in 61 innings. But he's behind here on Young, 3-1. And Eric pops it up. Desmond calls, and the ball game is over. The Nationals hit 3 more home runs tonight, and they've taken the first 2 games of the series. As Jason Worth and the Nationals continue hot and could well be within 6 games of the wild card when the night is over. They win it tonight 6-3.
Well, Davey Johnson's crew has got to be just about perfect all the way in, and 2 wins here on the first 2 nights at Citi Field.
And again, just too much hitting from the Nationals. They banged out 11 hits. The 3 home runs, as Gary said. Worth 24, LaRoche 19. Hairston off the bench against his old mates.
Your Citi game summary: the Nationals have hit 8 home runs in the first 2 games of this series. Matt Dendecker had the biggest hit for the Mets, a 2-run single. But the Nationals, with some help from Wilson Ramos, throwing out a couple of base stealers, win it tonight 6-3. Right now they're 6.5 back in the wild card, but the Reds trail the Cubs 9-0 as they play in the 7th. That may well be 6 by the end of the night. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Pepsi. Live for now. By the New York Lottery. By Lexus. Here's to a life less routine. The Lexus RX. By Modell's. Visit Modell's.com and gear up. And by Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2 in theaters September 27th. Final score tonight: the Nationals 6 and the Mets 3. Game 3 of this series tomorrow night. Zach Wheeler against Dan Herron. Our coverage begins tomorrow night at 6 o'clock right here on SNY. The coordinating producer of Mets baseball is Greg Picker. Tonight's game directed by Bill Webb. Associate director Dan Barr. Our associate producer is Greg Schultz. The senior vice president of production and executive producer is Kurt Gowdy Jr. And the president of SNY is Steve Rabb. Now for Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez, Kevin Burkhardt, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Gary Cohen at Citi Field. Time for WB Mason post-game live. Let's join the guys in the studio.